It's not an energy crisis or a lockdown. It's the consequence of a world war. White people are insane. We can't be honest. We can't be honest about the effects of what we're doing. Unbelievable. Black people told us that racist people were bad across the board, but we didn't believe them because we didn't want to change the way that we thought about our parents. But we thought Donald Trump was just going to steal from black people. We thought he was just going to allow Latinos to get raped. But now that violence is up all for women all around the world, white people are like, oh, wait a second. Now that boomers are like, wait, we have to go back. We're insolvent. Okay? Donald Trump is up $4 billion and the country is insolvent. White people are like, man, we made our fucking kids our servant class for nothing? What the fuck was the 400 years of slavery for? Why did we steal all that fucking land? The irony, though, of all these baby boomers having to go back to work after they thought that they fucked us over enough so that they could retire is amazing. He stole $4 billion this year. He's up $4 billion. And our whole entire economy is insolvent. And now, his supporters are like, well, why did we abuse our kids? And why do we not have a relationship with our kids, right? We were supposed to retire, and that's how we're supposed to retire, is just cutting them off and not feeling any sort of attachment to them. And that's how the white economy works. But for the first time ever, white people are like, what are all these economists for, right? Like, what are all these scientists for? Nobody knows. We just found out that Israel was promised bunkers 3,000 years ago. Why would it be any different for our settler colonial asses? I don't got bunker money. I don't have organic vegetable money, so I'm not going to make it to the bunker phase, right? I'll get cancer. But if you can, steal one of these old motherfuckers' bunkers, dude. You're wiping their ass. Like, they're old. You've been taking care of them in a hospital or whatever the fuck. You work some job where you have to talk to some old fucking idiot all day, and it's the same old idiot that has never learned anything. Steal their bunker. You can't initiate violence if you're born into it. And the same thing goes for anyone going to the capitalist parade on Saturday, okay? You're not going to be the one that's initiating violence, okay? You're born into it. It's all around you.
Middle Passage, white people. Slavery, white people. Jim Crow, white people. Lynchings, white people. Trail of Tears, white people. Wounded Knee, white people. Asian internment camps, white people. The vast majority of gun violence, white people. You see a trend? January 6th, white people. Ahmaud Arbery, 3 white guys.
I'll never forget the day a white buddy of mine said black people don't deserve equality because they could never get enough. And that's true. White people are actually scared of equality. That's just how racist we are as a people. And it's not just that one person. White culture in general. Probably I would say most white people, when they hear the word equality, they fear that white people will be oppressed because brown, black, and indigenous people might actually get what's fair and just. That's just how racist we are. And we're so obsessed with the idea of not having equality in America for black, brown, and indigenous people that we don't have health care, that we don't have economic equality. We don't have reasonable gun laws. Our liberties are being stripped because we have a fascist, racist, white supremacist regime in office because we are so scared of equality. We're so scared that black and brown folks might become the majority one day. That we had a black president, and now we've got to have a white supremacist president. That's how scared we are of equality. That's how racist we are as a people. Go to the fucking root. The root of America's problems. The root of the white man and the white woman, their problems, and America and the world. If you think about it, colonialization, white supremacy, the mentality of white people today, not just yesterday, today, right now, the denial racially, the silence, the apathy, the continuous gaslighting, all that fucking shit. That's ruined us. It's ruined white people, and it's ruining our nation. And whose fault is it? White people's fault. Their inability to fucking fix their goddamn problem. Until we fix white supremacy, everything we try will fail. It's dysfunctional and it's toxic, and Trump and this regime is the perfect proof of all that shit. How we got in this fucking mess? White people's bullshit. White people's racist fucking bullshit. Period.
Whatever the story has been told about America's downfall is looking at the wrong people, ignoring the verified facts that the most significant violences and instabilities have been fueled by those holding most power. right? For a long time, the mainstream media has been pointing fingers to the black community to explain crime and to explain decay. But the math isn't mathing. The math is not adding. If you want to see why the system is shaking, you have to look at the white reckoning. We aren't talking about specific persons here, but rather we're talking about a white power structure that uh, would rather break the whole country than share it. So this is the Nick Report, and I'm your host Nick. And today we're gonna have a very interesting topic. Whites are finally realizing their mistake. They're realizing that they are their own destruction, right? But they're the reason why America is falling today. So sit back, take a chair, because this one is going to be a deep one. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribe, like, share, and comment. And I have prepared for you some videos that I want us to watch before we proceed to a critical analysis. So let's dive right into the videos.
As a white male, let me just speak to any other white males that are listening, or white people that are listening in general. We're not fooling anyone, and we're not fooling ourselves. And I know, because I was raised and conditioned to see the world a particular way, I know what my ears are hearing, and you can place all the context you want around it. Someone said to me recently, Pastor, he did not say, quote, black women. You're right. He called specifically 4 black women, one of which was Michelle Obama. And these educated black women is who he was talking about. And in the context, it doesn't change. And until we can come to a place where we acknowledge that rebranded, sanitized, polite racism is still racism. And the great Franciscan priest Richard Rohr says it like this. He says, you cannot heal what you do not acknowledge. And this is why it's so imperative when I see things like this administration and Trump and MAGA pushing to remove images of slavery from museums. We're regressing. We're moving backwards. And he knows what he's doing. This administration knows what they're doing. And I'm learning more and more that what this is underneath, what it is white supremacy. And a part of the reason, perhaps, many of these leaders, these white male leaders, part of the reason many of them are kicking and screaming and putting out the dog whistles, and I'm getting them, God knows the people of color are getting them, part of the reason I believe that's happening is because they are so terrified of one word, equality. Equality. Feels like oppression to them.
Can we stop, for once, at least, maybe in our nation's history, stop trying to blame white on white crime on black people? Can we stop it for once, at least, please? Like, we all knew when Charlie Kirk was killed. We knew who this was going to be. We knew who the suspect was going to be, a young white man. We knew it. And yet, some people tried to spin this to say it was something else. And now threats are being lobbied against black students at universities. Black HBCUs are being threatened to be blown up. I think 4 of them had to shut down yesterday and today because they had to deal with bomb threats. It was never them. It's never been the black community. We always blame anybody else but ourselves. But the call is coming from inside the house. We are the problem. White on white crime, we are the problem. We have always been the problem. So let's, for once, stop trying to blame somebody else and look inward and try to address the actual problems that we are the ones creating upon ourselves.
I gotta say, to all the people living in the US, especially people that look like me, white people, now's the time to be brave and speak up about what's happening to the immigrant community. The broadening scope of power of ICE. They are now arresting mayors at immigration court for asking a question. Federal authorities shoving to the ground and handcuffing legislators. This is absolutely insane, and it needs to be called out immediately. White people, I'm talking to you. Everybody knows we have historically been the quietest when it comes to injustice. We have had the luxury of just going along with the status quo and receiving the fewest consequences and enduring the least amount of discomfort of anybody else existing in this country, and the cycle needs to end. White people need to speak up, okay? They can't silence us if millions of us are speaking up at the same time. But if you choose to be quiet and hide behind your skin color, hide behind your privilege, you are contributing to the direction that this country is going in, and anyone with half a brain knows exactly where this country is going. I've seen some white people speak up and protest and show up, and I love that, and I love to see it, and I want to see more of it. For any people that are teetering on the fence, that are still trying to protect some ambiguous version of a reputation that you have, whatever that even means at this point, jump in, okay? Listen to people about their life experiences, learn from them, believe them, support them. Link arms with your community and don't let go, okay? Our communities need to stand strong right now against racism, against fascism. We need each other. Stand up, y'all.
Man, so many white people really need to reflect on the state of their hearts. Here is reality playing out in front of us, and we want to live in this castle of lies of white supremacy. Fight as if our whole entire existence depended upon it. It's sad, honestly. Like, there's a great quote by the poet Saul Williams that says, "What have you bought into, and what will it cost to buy you out?" What did our ancestors buy into that was a reality of white supremacy, where we gave up all ethnic background, almost all cultural background? All we have left, most people, is just food, maybe some remnants of food. And now you've replaced it with football and nationalism and religion that's hollow and follows this supposed white Jesus that's not in any way based in the reality of Christianity even. People need to really reflect on the state of their hearts. It's sad to see, the state of these churches with these sermons this weekend, mourning the passing of a white person, but never mourning and oftentimes making fun of the passing of black and brown people, or, the locking up of millions, let alone talking about Gaza. So it's time for people to really reflect on the state of your hearts, because are you going to die like this? Are you going to die on the hill of white supremacy? One time over my life, of course, I've visited graveyards many times in this country, and I visited them globally as well. And there's a stark difference between graveyards globally that are very solemn and are actually rooted in their tradition. And then you go to these graves in this country and you see sports emblems on the graves. No longer do you see crosses. No longer do you see different symbols of religion. Sports emblems on your grave. Just think of what we're dying on without belief, without reality. Most people are in no way in touch with reality. Let's get in touch with reality as this fascism grows all around us.
So let's begin with the first downfall. That is the Civil War. Yes. So let's begin with the first downfall. That is the Civil War. America literally split in half, and thousands of bodies, thousands of black Americans and white Americans as well lost their lives. Why? Because the white power structure refused to give up the treasures, to give up the resources that they stole from black bodies, right? Then came the Reconstruction, a chance for a new start. Blacks were winning. They were actually winning and voting and building, right? But the reckoning hit back harder. How? Groups like KKK weren't just rebels. They were the law. They used terror to reset the clock and black progress. So fast forward to the 1920s, when the black success got too loud, so it got burned down. Look at Tulsa. Remember Tulsa? Look at Rosewood. Look at East St. Louis, right? The violence people talk about today, it doesn't compare to the organized mobs that turned black wealth into ash. It's difficult to win a race when the grounds are shifting. In the 40s and 50s, the government invented redlining. Hope you remember redlining, where they gave white families the American dream in the suburbs. They trap black families in the cities and cut off the oxygen. So no loans, no investment, no escape. We call it urban decay like it's a natural disaster. It's not. It's an orchestrated strategy. When you drain the resources, you create the chaos. Then you use that chaos to justify policing, right? It's a loop designed to keep the whites at the top and the blacks at the bottom. Let's look at the 2026. We see white grievances at an all-time high, right? People are angry because the hierarchy is shifting. They say they want to save America. They want to make America great again, right? But history shows that when this group feels threatened, the whole country pays the price. It's true because when the whites feel threatened, I mean, it's the blacks and the brown communities that are going to suffer, right? So the downfall isn't caused by blacks wanting equality. Rather, the downfall is caused by the fear of that equality. So if the system has to be white to be good, the system has to be white to be good, then the system is already dead. Why? Because the black experience is the proof that America hasn't kept its promise. Why? Because we see segregation today, we see discrimination today in our supermarkets, in our courts, in our courts, by the judges, right? So the white reckoning here is whether people want it or not. You can't build a house on a lie and expect it to stand forever. The violence and death we see in our history books, it's almost always started with a hand holding a gavel or a torch, trying to stop black freedom. So America isn't falling back, isn't falling down because of diversity. Rather, it's falling apart because it's still addicted to a racial win-lose game, right? If we want a future, we have to stop blaming the survivors. It's true. We have to start looking at the people who built the maze, right? Having to come to a realization that you're the reason for your own downfall is a good thing, right? But the real thing is having to work on that realization because we need to see results. We need to see growth and development for both blacks and whites and browns as well, right? So if you found this video informative, I need you to drop a comment in the comments below. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribe, like, and share. I'm Nick, and this is the Nick Report. Until next time, stay vigilant.